Hejin sat quietly in her studio at the Seoul Performing Arts Academy. The morning sunlight streamed through the large windows, making the dust particles dance in the air. She stared at her computer screen with wide eyes, not believing what she was seeing. The music on her screen was not there when she left the studio last night. Yet here it was, a beautiful melody that seemed to float off the page. The strange thing was, she remembered this music. She had heard it in her dreams. Hejin was 26 years old and had been composing music since she was a child. She had written many songs, but never like this, never in her sleep. She played the melody on her piano, and the notes filled the room with a gentle, flowing sound that reminded her of starlight. "This is impossible," she whispered to herself. She remembered dreaming about this music last night. In her dream, she had been floating in space, surrounded by twinkling stars that sang to her. When she woke up, the melody had been clear in her mind. But she hadn't written it down. She hadn't touched her computer. Yet here it was, perfectly recorded. Hejin called her friend Dr. Jaiho, who worked at the university's science department. He studied strange things about the human mind and consciousness. If anyone could help her understand what was happening, it would be him. "You say the music just appeared?" Dr. Jaiho asked when he arrived at her studio. He was a tall man with kind eyes, and always wore a neat white lab coat. "And you're sure you didn't write it while sleepwalking?" "I'm sure," Hejin said. "My studio was locked. No one could have come in. But I remember creating this music in my dream." Dr. Jaiho listened to the recording. His eyes grew wider with each note. "This is very interesting," he said. "The structure of this music is unusual. It doesn't follow normal patterns. May I take some readings?" He set up his equipment around Hejin's studio. There were machines that measured energy fields, brain waves, and other things Hejin didn't understand. For the next few hours, they ran tests and recorded data. That night, Hejin went home feeling nervous but excited. Would she dream more music? She got ready for bed and tried to calm her racing thoughts. As she drifted off to sleep, she felt a strange tingling sensation, as if tiny stars were dancing in her mind. In her dream, she was back in space. But this time, she wasn't alone. The stars around her pulsed with rhythm, creating patterns of light and sound. She felt herself conducting them, arranging their songs into new melodies. The music flowed through her like a gentle river of light. When she woke up the next morning, Hejin rushed to her studio. Just as she had hoped, new music waited for her on her computer. This piece was even more beautiful than the first. It sounded like nothing she had ever heard before, a mix of classical music and something else, something that seemed to come from beyond Earth. Dr. Jaiho arrived early, eager to see if it had happened again. When he saw the new music, he immediately began setting up his instruments. "The energy readings in your studio are off the charts," he said. "Something is definitely happening here. Something scientific that we don't understand yet." Hejin played the new piece on her piano. As the music filled the room, the sunlight seemed to dance and shimmer in unusual ways. Dr. Jaiho's instruments started beeping and flashing. "Look at these readings," he exclaimed. "The frequencies in your music match some strange signals we've been detecting from space. This isn't just ordinary music, Hejin. You're somehow connecting with something bigger." Hejin felt a mix of fear and wonder. She was a simple music composer who loved creating beautiful songs. Now she seemed to be part of something much larger. As she sat at her piano, looking at the mysterious music that had come from her dreams, she knew her life would never be the same. What she didn't know yet was that somewhere, far beyond the twinkling stars, someone was listening to her music, and they had been waiting a very long time for someone like her to start dreaming these songs. 3 weeks had passed since Hejin first discovered her ability to create music in her dreams. Each morning brought new melodies to her computer, each more beautiful than the last. Dr. Jaiho continued to study the strange phenomenon, filling notebooks with data and theories. One quiet evening, Hejin stayed late in her studio. The sunset painted the sky in soft purple and orange colors. She felt tired after a long day of teaching music to her students. As she sat at her piano, her eyes grew heavy, and she drifted into sleep. This dream was different from the others. Instead of floating freely in space, she found herself in what looked like a concert hall made of starlight. Crystalline structures rose from the floor like frozen music notes. The air itself seemed to shimmer with soft harmonies. "We have been waiting to meet you, Ho-Jin," a gentle voice said. Ho-Jin turned to see a tall figure standing near one of the crystal structures. He looked mostly human, except for the slight glow that seemed to come from within him. His features were kind, and he wore simple white clothing that reflected the starlight around them. "My name is Tae-sung," he said. "I am what you might call an observer. My people have been watching Earth's musical development for a very long time." Ho-Jin felt surprised, but not afraid. There was something calming about Tae-sung's presence. "Are you not from Earth?" she asked. Tae-sung smiled. "No, we come from a world where music is more than just sound. For us, it is how we think, how we feel, how we communicate. We have been searching for humans who could understand our way of expressing ourselves. You, Ho-Jin, are the first to naturally connect with our musical frequencies." He walked to one of the crystal structures and touched it lightly. It began to produce a beautiful sound that Ho-Jin could not only hear, but also see as waves of colored light in the air. "The music you have been creating in your dreams," Tae-sung explained, "contains frequencies that match our natural communication patterns. You are building a bridge between our worlds without even knowing it." Ho-Jin thought about all the mysterious melodies that had appeared on her computer. "So the music in my dreams, it comes from your people?" "Not exactly," Tae-sung said. "The music comes from you, but your mind has somehow tuned itself to our frequencies. You are creating something new, a harmony between human music and our own forms of expression." He showed her around the starlit concert hall, explaining how his people had evolved beyond spoken language. Their civilization was built on pure musical communication. They could share complex ideas and emotions through harmonies and melodies. "But why me?" Ho-Jin asked. "I'm just a regular music composer. There is nothing regular about you, Ho-Jin," Tae-sung said kindly. "Your mind has a rare ability to perceive frequencies that most humans cannot. Dr. Jaiho's research is beginning to understand this, though he does not yet know about us." As they talked, Ho-Jin began to understand more about the music she had been creating. Each piece was like a conversation between human emotion and alien thought patterns. She was unconsciously translating between two very different ways of experiencing the world. "Will you help us?" Ta-sung asked. "We believe music could be the key to peaceful contact between our civilizations, but we need someone who can help both sides understand each other." Before Ho-Jin could answer, she felt herself beginning to wake up. The starlit concert hall began to fade around her. "Think about it," Tae-sung's voice echoed as the dream dissolved. "We will meet again soon." Ho-Jin woke up at her piano, the last rays of sunset still painting the sky. Her computer screen glowed with new music, the most complex piece yet. But this time, she understood what it meant. It was not just a song. It was a message, a greeting, a beginning. She reached for her phone to call Dr. Jaiho. How would she explain that his scientific readings had been right all along? They were not just detecting random space signals. They were receiving messages from another civilization, translated through the universal language of music. As she dialed the number, Ho-Jin smiled. Her dreams had become more than just dreams. They had become a bridge between worlds. Dr. Jaiho sat in his laboratory, staring at his computer screen. Graphs and charts filled the display, showing patterns he had never seen before. Next to him, his colleague Dr. Sunmei adjusted her glasses as she studied the data. "These frequencies in Ho-Jin's music," Dr. Jaiho said quietly, "they match exactly with the cosmic radiation patterns we discovered last month. It cannot be a coincidence." Dr. Sunmei nodded. She was a brilliant researcher who specialized in sound waves, and their effects on human consciousness. The patterns are too precise to be random, she agreed. But how is He-Jin creating these specific frequencies in her dreams? In another part of the building, He-Jin was teaching a group of students about classical music. As she played Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata on the piano, she thought about her recent dreams and her conversations with Tae-sung. She had not told anyone about meeting him yet, not even Dr. Jae-ho. After her class ended, He-Jin went to the laboratory. She found Dr. Jae-ho and Dr. Sunmei still studying the charts. They looked up when she entered. He-Jin, Dr. Jae-ho said, "We have made an amazing discovery. The music you create in your dreams, it contains the same patterns as signals coming from space. We think music might be more important than anyone ever realized. It might be the basic language of the universe itself." He-Jin sat down, her heart beating faster. Should she tell them about Tae-sung? As she considered this, a familiar tingling sensation came over her. She was falling asleep right there in the laboratory. In her dream, she found herself back in the starlit concert hall. Tae-sung was waiting for her, but this time he was not alone. Several other figures stood with him, each giving off a soft, musical glow. "These are my fellow observers," Tae-sung explained. "They want to learn about human music, just as I do. Would you teach us?" He-Jin walked to a dream version of her piano. As she began to play, she noticed something wonderful. Each note created visible waves of light and color. The alien observers watched with great interest as she played pieces by Bach, Mozart, and Chopin. "Your human composers understood something important," Tae-sung said. "They knew music could express feelings that words cannot explain. This is why we believe music will help our peoples understand each other." Back in the laboratory, Dr. Sunmei noticed something strange happening. The machines monitoring He-Jin's brain activity were showing unusual patterns. At the same time, their instruments detected new cosmic frequencies filling the room. "Jae-ho, look at this," Dr. Sunmei called out. "These readings, it's as if He-Jin is communicating with something while she sleeps." Dr. Jae-ho rushed to check the instruments. The patterns were unlike anything they had seen before. As they watched, He-Jin smiled in her sleep, and the machines recorded complex harmonies that seemed to come from nowhere. When He-Jin woke up, she knew it was time to tell them the truth. She told them about Tae-sung, about his people, and about their belief that music was the universal language that could connect different civilizations. Instead of doubting her, Dr. Jae-ho and Dr. Sunmei listened with growing excitement. Their scientific readings supported everything He-Jin was saying. The frequencies they detected matched perfectly with both He-Jin's dream music and the cosmic signals they had been studying. "This is incredible," Dr. Sunmei said. "We're not just studying music anymore. We're discovering how the universe communicates." As they talked about what this could mean, He-Jin remembered something Tae-sung had told her in the dream. "Music isn't just something we create," she said. "It's already there, in everything. We're just learning how to hear it." The three of them stayed late into the night, sharing ideas and making plans. They knew they were part of something much bigger than themselves. The Universal Symphony was just beginning, and they were learning how to play their parts in it. 1 month after He-Jin revealed the truth about her alien connections, she made another amazing discovery. She found that she could create special places in her dreams where both humans and aliens could meet to share music. It happened by accident during one of her teaching sessions. He-Jin was giving a piano lesson to a new student named Minna, a quiet 16-year-old girl with remarkable musical talent. As they played together, both teacher and student fell into an unexpected sleep. They found themselves in a vast space that looked like a mix between a concert hall and a galaxy. Floating platforms held different musical instruments. Streams of colorful light flowed through the air, carrying melodies with them. This was the first dream theater. "Where are we?" Minna asked, looking around with wide eyes. She didn't seem scared, only curious. "We are in a special place between sleeping and waking," He-Jin explained. She was surprised to find that she could control this dream space, shaping it with her thoughts. This is where music from Earth meets music from the stars. Taesung appeared nearby, his gentle glow filling the space with warm light. To Haejin's surprise, Minna showed no fear at seeing him. Instead, the young girl smiled and bowed politely. "I can hear the music in your thoughts," Minna said to Taesung. "It's beautiful." Haejin watched in amazement as Minna began to play one of the dream instruments. The sound she created matched perfectly with the alien harmonies that Taesung was sharing. Somehow, this young student could naturally understand and translate the alien music. "She has the gift too," Taesung said to Haejin. "Perhaps even stronger than yours. She doesn't just hear our music, she can speak to us through it directly." Over the next few weeks, Haejin and Minna worked together to explore the possibilities of the Dream Theater. They learned how to invite others into this special space. Dr. Jae-ho and Dr. Sun-mi joined them several times, bringing their scientific instruments into the dream world to study what was happening. The Dream Theater became more stable and detailed with each visit. They could now create different rooms for different types of music. One room looked like a traditional Korean music hall, while another resembled a space station made of crystal. In each space, humans and aliens could share their music and learn from each other. Minna showed extraordinary progress. She could take alien harmonies and turn them into beautiful songs that human audiences could understand and enjoy. She wrote her first piece, called Starlight Sonata, which combined Earth's classical music style with the flowing melodies of Taesung's people. "Music is like a bridge," Minna explained to Haejin one day as they sat in the Dream Theater. "It connects not just different notes, but different worlds. When I play, I can feel both sides becoming closer." Haejin felt proud of her young student. She remembered how quiet and shy Minna had been when they first met. Now the girl was helping to create something entirely new, a way for two different civilizations to share their art and understanding. Dr. Sun-mi developed special devices that could record the music from their dream sessions. When they played these recordings in the real world, people reported feeling more peaceful and having clearer thoughts. The alien harmonies seemed to have a positive effect on human minds. "We are witnessing the birth of a new form of communication," Dr. Jae-ho said as he studied the latest readings from the Dream Theater. "And it's all happening through the minds of a music teacher and her student." As Haejin watched Minna practice with some of the alien observers, she felt a deep sense of joy. The Dream Theater had become more than just a meeting place. It was becoming a school, a laboratory, and a concert hall where two different species could learn to understand each other through the universal language of music. Little did they know that soon their peaceful musical exchange would face its greatest challenge. But for now, the Dream Theater filled with the sound of harmony between worlds, played by a young girl who could speak the language of the stars. The news about Haejin's Dream Theater spread quickly through the scientific community. Soon, government officials began to take notice. One morning, Security Director Yoon-ho arrived at the Seoul Performing Arts Academy to investigate the situation. Yoon-ho was a serious man who always wore a dark suit. He listened carefully as Dr. Jae-ho explained their research. Dr. Sun-mi showed him the data they had collected from the Dream Theater sessions. Haejin demonstrated some of the alien harmonies they had recorded. "This is concerning," Yoon-ho said after hearing everything. "You have opened a direct channel of communication with an unknown species. This could be dangerous for Earth's security." "But the aliens are peaceful," Haejin explained. "They only want to share music and understanding with us. Taesung and his people have never shown any hostile intentions." Yoon-ho shook his head. "We cannot be certain of their true intentions. The government must take control of this situation. All Dream Theater activities must stop immediately." Minna, who had been quietly watching from the corner of the room, stepped forward. "Please, let me show you what we've learned," she said. She sat at the piano and began to play her latest composition, a piece that combined Earth's classical music with alien harmonies. As the music filled the room, something unexpected happened. The harsh lines on Yoon-ho's face softened. The scientific instruments in the room began recording unusual energy patterns. The sunlight coming through the windows seemed to dance with the melody. "This is remarkable," Yoon-ho admitted, but he quickly returned to his serious expression. "Still, we must follow proper procedures. The government will need to evaluate everything before we can allow this to continue." That night, Ho-jin met with Tae-sung in the Dream Theater. She told him about the government's concerns. "What should we do?" she asked. "We can't just stop everything we've built here." Tae-sung thought for a moment. "Perhaps it is time for us to make a choice," he said. "We could reveal ourselves publicly to your world. But this would change everything. Are your people ready for such a step?" In another part of the Dream Theater, Minna was working with some of the alien observers. They were creating new musical patterns that could help humans understand their peaceful intentions. The young girl had become a bridge between the two species, translating complex ideas into beautiful melodies. Dr. Sunmai and Dr. Jeho spent hours reviewing their research data. They found clear evidence that the alien music had positive effects on human brain patterns. It promoted peace, creativity, and better understanding between people. "We need to show Director Yoon-ho the complete picture," Dr. Sunmai said. "This is not just about music or alien contact. This could help our whole world become more peaceful and harmonious." Hae-jin gathered everyone together in her studio. The morning sun was just beginning to rise over Seoul. They needed to make a decision before the government officials returned. "I have an idea," Minna said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. "What if we invited Director Yoon-ho and other government officials to experience the Dream Theater for themselves? Not just to watch, but to really participate." Hae-jin smiled at her student's suggestion. It was perfect. Instead of trying to explain everything with words and data, they could show the officials directly. They could let them feel the harmony and peace that came from sharing music across the stars. Tae-sung agreed to the plan. Through their dream connection, he told Hae-jin that his people would prepare a special demonstration. They would show Earth's leaders that music could build trust between different worlds better than any diplomatic agreement. As they made their preparations, Hae-jin looked at her small group of dreamers and scientists. They had created something beautiful together. Now they had to convince others to give peace and harmony a chance to grow. The day of the special demonstration arrived. Hae-jin had arranged for the performance to take place in Seoul's largest concert hall. Director Yoon-ho sat in the front row with other government officials. Dr. Jeho and Dr. Sunmai had set up their scientific equipment throughout the hall. Minna stood on stage next to a grand piano. She looked small under the bright lights, but her eyes showed no fear. Hae-jin sat nearby at another piano. They had practiced for this moment many times in the Dream Theater. "What you are about to experience," Hae-jin announced to the audience, "is a combination of Earth's music and harmonies from another world. Dr. Sunmai has created special devices that will let everyone share in the dream music experience." Dr. Sunmai activated her equipment. Soft lights began to glow around the concert hall. The air seemed to shimmer with gentle energy. Many people in the audience gasped as they felt the strange but peaceful sensation. Minna began to play first. Her fingers moved across the piano keys, creating a beautiful melody that floated through the air. Then Hae-jin joined in, adding deeper notes that seemed to make the whole room vibrate with harmony. Suddenly, new sounds joined the music. The alien observers, led by Tae-sung, added their own musical patterns to the performance. Thanks to Dr. Sunmai's technology, everyone in the audience could see the alien harmonies as waves of colored light dancing through the air. Director Yoon-ho sat up straighter in his chair. His usual serious expression changed to one of wonder as he watched the lights and listened to the combined music of two worlds. The other government officials also showed signs of being deeply moved by the performance. Minna's music grew stronger, weaving together human emotions with alien thoughts. The colored lights formed patterns that told stories without words. Stories of peace, friendship, and the joy of sharing art across the stars. Dr. Jaiho's instruments recorded everything. The readings showed that both the performers and the audience were experiencing heightened brain activity. People's minds were opening to new ways of understanding and communicating. In the middle of the performance, something unexpected happened. Members of the audience began to hum along with the music. The alien harmonies had awakened something in their minds, helping them naturally understand this new form of expression. Tai Sung's light form appeared on stage, visible to everyone thanks to Dr. Sunmi's technology. He joined Minna at her piano, adding his own musical patterns to her playing. The young girl smiled as their music merged into one beautiful sound. Director Yoonho stood up from his seat. Everyone watched as he walked onto the stage. He faced the audience and spoke in a voice filled with emotion. "I came here today worried about Earth's security," he said, "but this performance has shown me something important. These visitors do not want to harm us. They want to share something beautiful with us. They want to help us grow." The performance continued for another hour. Hajin, Minna, and their alien friends created music that touched everyone's hearts. The concert hall filled with a feeling of peace and unity that no one had experienced before. When the last note faded away, the audience sat in silence for a moment. Then they burst into applause that seemed to shake the building. Many people had tears in their eyes, moved by the beauty they had witnessed. Director Yoonho shook hands with Hajin and bowed to Tai Sung's light form. "You have my full support," he said. "This gift of music should be shared with the whole world." As people began to leave the concert hall, Minna played one final, gentle melody. The alien harmonies whispered along with her music, promising more beautiful collaborations to come. The dream of peaceful contact between worlds had become reality through the universal language of music. 3 months after the historic concert, the Human-Alien Cultural Exchange Program opened its doors. The government had provided a beautiful new building in Seoul with special rooms designed for musical communication. Hajin served as the program's director, while Dr. Jaiho and Dr. Sunmi continued their research in a new laboratory. One morning, Hajin sat in her office, looking through the glass walls at the activity below. Students from all over the world had come to learn about dream music. In one room, Minna taught a group how to understand alien harmonies. In another room, Tai Sung worked with human musicians to create new forms of musical expression. "We need a better way to write down this new music," Hajin said to Tai Sung during their daily meeting in the Dream Theater. The traditional music notation system couldn't capture the complex patterns of alien harmonies. Tai Sung agreed. "Our people have always shared music directly through thoughts and energy. But if we want more humans to learn these songs, we need a written form they can understand." They worked together for many days, combining human music symbols with new marks that showed the special qualities of alien sounds. Minna helped too, drawing pictures of how the music looked in her mind. Slowly, a new musical language began to take shape. Dr. Jaiho made an exciting discovery during this time. He found that people who learned the alien harmonies showed improved brain activity. Their minds became better at solving problems and understanding complex ideas. "The music is like exercise for the brain," Dr. Sunmi explained to a group of visiting scientists. She showed them scanned results from students before and after they learned dream music. It helps different parts of the mind work together better. The new musical notation system proved very successful. Students could now read and write songs that contained both human and alien musical elements. These special pieces of music carried feelings and ideas that regular words could not express. One day, a sick child visited the Cultural Exchange Center. The young girl had been in the hospital for many months. When she heard the combined human-alien music, her doctors noticed something remarkable. Her health began to improve. Dr. Jaiho studied this carefully. "The frequencies in this music seem to help the body heal," he reported to Hajin. "The alien harmonies work with the natural rhythms of human biology in ways we never expected." More people came to learn about the healing properties of dream music. Hospitals started playing recordings in their recovery rooms. Schools found that students learned better when gentle alien harmonies played in the background. Minna composed a special piece called Healing Light that combined the most effective musical patterns. When played in the Dream Theater, it created beautiful waves of color that helped both body and mind feel better. Music has always had the power to help people, He-jin said during an interview with an international news station. But now we understand that power in a new way. It's not just about entertainment anymore. It's about connection, healing, and growing together. Tae-sung and his fellow observers shared more of their musical knowledge. They taught humans how different musical patterns could carry different kinds of information. Some songs could teach complex scientific ideas. Others could share stories about life on distant worlds. The cultural exchange program grew bigger every day. New buildings opened in other cities around the world. More and more people learned to understand and create dream music. The bridge between worlds grew stronger with each new song. As He-jin watched her students practice one evening, she remembered how all this started with simple melodies appearing on her computer. Now those mysterious songs had grown into something that was changing the world in peaceful and beautiful ways. 5 years had passed since He-jin first discovered the dream music. The world had changed in wonderful ways since then. Dream theaters now existed in cities across Earth, serving as centers of learning, healing, and cultural exchange between humans and their alien friends. Minna had grown into a famous composer. At 21 years old, she was preparing for her greatest project yet, conducting the first Universal Symphony. This special concert would connect dream theaters around the world, allowing people everywhere to experience the music together. He-jin sat in the audience of the Seoul Dream Theater, watching her former student prepare for the performance. The theater looked magical, with streams of light flowing through the air and special instruments that could play both human and alien music. "You must be very proud," Tae-sung said, appearing beside her in his gentle light form. Over the years, he had become a close friend to He-jin and her team. "I am," He-jin replied with a warm smile. "Minna has taken what we started and made it into something even more beautiful than we imagined." Dr. Jae-ho and Dr. Sunmi sat nearby with their latest scientific equipment. After years of research, they had learned so much about how music affected the human mind and body. Their discoveries had helped doctors treat illnesses and teachers help students learn better. Director Yoon-ho was there too. He had become one of the strongest supporters of the cultural exchange program. "To think I'd once worried about all this," he said, shaking his head with a smile. "Now I cannot imagine our world without this harmony between civilizations." The Universal Symphony was about to begin. Dream theaters around the world filled with people. Thanks to Dr. Sunmi's advanced technology, they could all see and hear each other, connected through the music. Minna stood on the conductor's platform. She had worked for months to create this special piece. It would combine traditional orchestras, alien harmonies, and the natural music of Earth itself, the sounds of oceans, wind, and living things. She raised her hands, and the music began. The human orchestra played their instruments while alien observers added their beautiful light songs. On screens around the theater, people could see similar performances happening in dream theaters in New York, London, Tokyo, and many other cities. The music told the story of two civilizations learning to understand each other. It spoke of friendship, hope, and the power of working together. As Minna conducted, waves of colored light danced through the air, showing the emotions and ideas in the music. He-jin watched with tears in her eyes as her student led this amazing performance. She remembered the quiet girl who had first walked into her studio years ago. Now Minna was helping to guide humanity toward a brighter future. The Universal Symphony reached its peak. Millions of people around the world experienced the same beautiful moment together. In hospitals, patients felt stronger. In schools, students' minds opened to new ideas. In homes everywhere, people felt more connected to each other and to the universe. As the final notes faded away, Jin looked around the Dream Theater. She saw humans and aliens sharing in the joy of music together. She saw scientists and artists working as one. She saw people from different countries and cultures united by harmony. The dream that had started in her small studio had grown into something that touched the whole world. Music had become more than just entertainment. It was now a way to heal, to learn, to understand, and to grow. Minna turned to the audience and bowed. The applause that filled the dream theaters around the world seemed to make the very stars sing with joy. This was not the end of their story, but rather a beautiful new beginning. The Universal Symphony would continue to play, bringing peace and harmony to all who heard its song.